What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be doing the last position tier list of the month. We normally get these on the first 5 days. It's taken 10 days. Not the end of the world, but this is going to be the best centers in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So there are not too many new centers from the last time we've done this, which was about nearly 3 weeks ago at this stage. Obviously, there is not too long a gap between the two tier lists. However, when I'm going to be doing these at the start of every month, a month normally is a long time in 2K. It's just obviously the fact that the game released a little bit later this year meant we had to do first tier list a little bit later, and we always do these at the start of the month anyway. So, now, let's get on to it. So, first up, we've got Channing Frye. So, Channing Frye is the reward for, I think, like 600 wins. He gets silver limitless spot up, which again doesn't really matter because it's hard to trigger limitless spot up with a center. Like limitless spot up does matter, but it's not like the end of the world. He's got gold sniper. His release, base 36 I don't like, but I like the John Wall upper. And I've used this card a few times. Like I've used him a few times in draft, and he's pretty chicken with a 77 3 ball. So like giving him 61 speed or 65 speed is not bad. His block rating 53 is weak. He kind of reminds me of like a better Larry Markkinen. So, for me, I'm going to put Channing Frye... I'm going to B tier. I'm going to put him B tier. And the funny thing is, you're going to see a lot of guys change from last month because the meta has changed. We got a lot of new guys. The likes of Anthony Davis exist at the power forward position. Josh Smith exists. Dennis Rodman exists. So, like, the meta of centers has kind of changed. Like, it used to just be the Giants. Although the Giants do matter, but it used to just be the Giants. Now there are other ways of playing at that center position. So now we got Dawkins, 6'11", 7'3" wingspan, got 75 speed, got an elite driving dunk, good post game, really good post moves, got half posterizer, a grace under pressure, back down punisher. He's also no slithery, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but gets goal post spin technician. His defense is pretty good, and I'm gonna put Dawkins in A. I think Dawkins works pretty well with the Monster Mash guys. Like I do think he's with his player bundle is really good as well. Like I think he's a decent enough defender that he's not a liability, and I also do think that again his mashing ability is quite good. So yeah, I'm gonna go and put him in A tier right here. Okay, so then we are going to go with James Edwards. James Edwards is a massive, massive body. At this stage in the game, I'm sorry, he is worthless. He is worthless. Like, okay, I have to put a caveat for centers. So we got worthless, other than spinning versus the AI. Because the only reason that James Edwards may not be in worthless tier is because he can spin the AI. 2K, he's a big body, but like, he's not great. He's really, really not great. That's all I'm gonna say. I am not a fan of this card right here. So then we have got Mason Plumlee on the list. So Plumlee can hit wide open. Like he's got a 58 3 ball, but he's got base 38 as far as I'm aware. He can actually hit wide open. He's not good. He's slightly better with that 57 speed. Like he's going D tier. But Mason Plumlee's really weak. Like Mason Plumlee is genuinely, genuinely weak. So then we have got, after Mason Plumlee, we got Bonner. And again, Matt Bonner, I remember last year we were like so hopeful for Matt Bonner. Or I was so hopeful after last year Matt Bonner, but in the game Sesh at 17 on normal. Like it's greenable, but it's still unbelievably slow. Doesn't really do anything else. Because of the fact he can hit wide open, he's better than James Edwards. Solely because he can hit when he's wide open. But other than that, doesn't do anything. He really, really doesn't do anything. So then we have got Onyeka Okongwu. And this dude is a trash can. This guy is an absolute trash can. I am telling you, Onyeka Okongwu is an absolute trash can, lads. Like this card right here. You might be thinking, oh, maybe I'm overstating. Like I'm not. Well, I'm being harsh on him. Guy is slow, can't play in the post, can't really play defense. Is 6'8" and is 6'8" at the center position. Onyeka Okongwu is in the worthless. He's worthless and he can't even post spin the AI. That is the one thing about him. He's not only worthless, he is worthless other than post spin the AI. He's worthless and he cannot post spin the AI. So then we've got Al Horford. So Al Horford is not terrible. He is not terrible. Like, he's got an 83 ball, decent speed, 65 lateral. He's got 75 driving dunk, 80 standing dunk, great post hook and post fadeaway. Speed, or his defense is okay. His release is not the worst. Like, set shot 5 is not terrible, but his upper is horrendous. Set shot 5 is like, I'm trying to think, there's someone that has this release that's a good shooter. Who is, there's someone that has set shot 5 that I actually don't mind. I can't remember. Either way, the upper is not great. Like, but Horford's good. Horford's A tier. So then we got Steve Mix. So not Steve Mix, Alvin Adams. I don't know why I said Steve Mix. Alvin Adams. So Alvin Adams had a really, or like he's A tier. Alvin Adams had a really good pink diamond card last year. This year, not so much. So he used to have Draymond base with a different upper than anyone else, and now he's just Brook Lopez. Like, speed's alright. Bad lateral. Can't really shoot the ball. Good in the post, though. I mean, is he better than the guys we've seen so far? I don't know. Is he worse? I don't know. I'm going to put him in D tier. He might get moved up to C, but I'm going to put him in D tier. So then we got Andre Drummond. And Drummond, not bad. Not a bad card at all right here. So Andre Drummond, he's not a guy that you're going to really want. And like most of these guys, probably from even B tier and below, are not cards you're really going to want to use. But if you do pick them up in draft, that's where they can be good. He got 54 speed. Not the worst ladder for a big man, but he's got an 88 steal, which is huge. He's also got 85 driving dunk, decent post game. He's got a 42 three-pointer, which means he will occasionally hit a three-pointer if you shoot from the corners. He's also got a 64 free throw. Drummond is going to be the first player into C tier. He's going to be the first guy we have in C tier right here. So then we got Antonio Davis. And not to be mistaken for Anthony Davis, Antonio Davis is not also a kind of an inside center, but he's not very good. So Antonio Davis, 6'9". He can spin, he can't shoot the mid, he can't shoot the three. He's undersized. He's got good enough speed to keep him out of worthless other than spinning the AI. But I mean, he's pretty damn close to being worthless other than post spinning the AI. Like, he's not a great player. He's really, really not a great player. So I'm just going to say that much. But, yeah, so next we have got one of the best big men in the game. We got Artis Gilmore. Artis Gilmore has one of the best player builds in this game. I think I'm still, like, a little bit frustrated about how bad that Artis Gilmore was last year. The Opal, when I didn't even give this guy a shot. But he's got that 91 stamina, which matters so much for just a big body. He's got decent mid-range, decent release, to be fair. He's a good free throw shooter, great post-hook and fadeaway, not even terrible lateral quickness. He's a big body that can like deal with the likes of Shaq and Will. He's not quite as good as either of them, but he is probably, if you do like playing with those type of players, he's probably the next best you can get. He really is. He really, really is. But now we've hit the 10-minute mark of this list. I'm going to put in the absolute worthless guys into the bottom tier. So, I do apologize if I'm wrong with any of these guys, but I'm going to put him in worthless. He is worthless. I'm going to put... I mean, Willis Reed's got like 60 speed. Hansen, I mean, Hansen for an Emerald Center is not terrible. I'll give him this tier. I think I had him worthless last time, but like, I mean, he is, in general, he's worthless. But if you need an Emerald Center for some weird weeks of limited, he's not actually that bad. Like, there may be a use for Henson, but he's not good. Yao Ming, I'm sorry. You know what? He's 7'6", so I'm not going to put him worthless here. But he's bad. He's very, very bad. I mean, D-Rob's bad. He's worthless. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. He is the worst player I've ever used. I don't care what anyone says. Marvin Bagley. I despise this guy. There is no player that will frustrate me more than seeing Marvin Bagley. That guy misses every shot for me. He is the worst interior player I've ever seen. He is a hologram on defense. Yes, he can kind of hit a wide open jump shot. But no, he hits maybe 1 of 5 to like give you a false sense of security that you can't shoot with him. And then it comes into a big stage in a game and he's a bricklayer. Marvin Bagley III, I don't care. Is Marvin Bagley III realistically a B tier player with all the cards we have right now? Yes. Like certain times, he feels like he's an A tier player. But he's either an A tier player or an F tier player or a worthless tier player. Give or take. Okay, I hate this card so much. I hate him so much that I'm putting him into worthless. He post spins the AI. Yeah, that's the one thing he does. That is the one thing he does on the floor. Okay, who else? Big Country's pretty bad. He has a use though. He has a use. There's a lot of weeks in limited where him and Ja Morant is actually a viable, not even a viable option, a good option to run with. I mean, Ja Morant was one of the best Emerald and lower point guards. Or one of the best Sapphire and lower point guards. We haven't really, other than Manuel Quickly, gotten a Sapphire point guard. But him by himself is worthless tier, so I don't know. I'm going to put him in worthless tier. And the question is like, is he better than every player in D tier? Yes. But the reason I'm putting Bob McAdoo in worthless tier is he's 30 tokens. And not only is he worse than Dario Saric, who's in the Ruby tier, you only need 1 Amethyst card to get all the way to get up to the Diamond tier. And the other 4 Amethyst cards are all really good. And Bob McAdoo is not. Bob McAdoo is not the worst player in the world. But we got 4. The probably, bang for your buck, the Amethyst token reward board is the best token board. Like outside of Bob McAdoo, you've got Fred Brown, you've got Serge Ibaka, who's incredible. You've got Junior Bridgman, who's really good, and you got Steven Jackson. And then there's this guy right here. Just for that reason, he's down here in worthless tier. Is he worthless here in general? No, but let's be real. Anyone who's trying, if someone here is in the comment section being like, I got Bob McAdoo, he's actually really good. Dude, you should have just got Serge Ibaka. You should have just got Serge Ibaka. Don't try to justify for yourself why you didn't take Serge Ibaka by saying Bob McAdoo is good enough. You know what? Is he better than the guys in D tier and better than Andre Drummond? Yes. But do not try to justify it. There is no reason ever to get this guy. None whatsoever. Okay. Calm down. Now we have got Arvydas Sabonis. I mean, Arvydas Sabonis is just B tier. He's big body. So I'm going to go Arvydas Sabonis. James Donaldson. These guys are both the same. They're the same player. They're both big bodies that you can put in with like low stamina. Sabonis 7'3", Donaldson 7'2". Donaldson, I'm pretty sure, is the same jump shot as Artis Gilmore, if I'm not mistaken. But they're like downgraded versions of Artis Gilmore. That's the best. That's probably the most accurate way to describe those guys. Is they are literally just downgraded versions of Artis Gilmore. So then we have got Bill Laimbeer. And Bill Laimbeer has the worst jump shot in the game, but he's not worthless. Like, his jump shot, it's greenable. I don't care what anyone says, this jump shot is genuinely greenable. The stick shooting god from last year. Last year, because his release was like so slow, everybody who used the stick just loved this release. But 83 pointer. Last year he had like 60 lateral quickness on bronze clamps. This year they obviously screwed up his, or they obviously nerfed his speed and his lateral. But good enough post game. Because you have to respect his jumper. And by respect it, I mean you can't just leave him wide the F open. You can't just completely leave him wide open. But like you kind of have to respect it a little bit, but it's still not good enough that he's going above this tier. So then we got Ty Debo. We got Bill Walton right here. So 33 pointer, 53 speed. He can spin the AI. He's only got 43 lateral. His wingspan is pretty good though. His release, you know, that'll actually be a pretty good release later on in the year. Like, this guy's D. He's got a lot of silver badges on defense. He's a D tier player. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in that position, but he's not nearly as bad as these guys, especially if you get him in the draft. He's actually pretty good inside. So then we got Brad, and this is our first, like, debatably S tier player. So with Brad, you're getting a 7-foot tall player. You're getting a really good interior score. You're getting a good interior defender. He can get quick for a step. He can get all the shooting badges. His release is actually, even though it's base 36, it's greenable. If he's wide open, he'll green. So he's not a player I don't like. I'm gonna put him in A. I think going into S would be overkill. I think that will be gassing it, but I do think A tier is the correct spot for him. So we got Brook Lopez. Lopez, 73 point, 30 speed, 30 acceleration, 80 shot mid. He's got 46 lateral, 87 post hook, 87 post fade, and he can kind of shoot. I'm actually gonna put Brook Lopez in C. I'm gonna put Brook Lopez in C. He's a lot more of a threat than any of these players in D, outside of, like, these two guys right here. But there's a reason. This guy, he's just, stats lie, this guy's just the worst player in the game. But and other than Bob McAdoo, screw it. I'm just gonna put Bob McAdoo where he belongs. He's like he's an honorary worthless tier player, but I'll give him B tier. I hate him so much. No, I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to Marvin Bagley's and worthless. Bryant Reeves. I mean, just for that dynamic duo, he has somewhat of a use. And now we've got the most confusing player in all of 2K. We've got Chris Kaman. And if you're wondering why Chris Kaman is the most confusing player in all of 2K. So, stats-wise, he's awful. Like, awful. Can't really shoot. He's slow, bad lateral, moderately good block. Not even exceptional in the post. Dude gets every freaking badge in the game. And I don't mean that literally. But, like, the guy gets clamps. Defensive leader, intimidator, post move, lockdown. He gets clamps. He gets quick first step for some reason. He gets lucky number 7. He gets sniper. He gets volume shooter. He gets mismatch expert, despite the fact he's a 7-foot tall center with a kind of shorter wingspan than height. But I think just for the badges reasons, I gotta put him in C tier. But he's one of the most confusing players. I don't know who was meant to get these badges, but it definitely was not Chris Kaman. They definitely mixed up the badges with Chris Kaman and somebody else. Maybe they mixed up Chris Kaman and Chris Bosch's shooting badges. Maybe that's it. But I have no idea. Then we got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 69 speed, 69 acceleration, only a 31 3 ball. He's got the sky hook, got half hook specialist, half post spin technician. Good on defense. I mean, Kareem's Kareem. I mean, is Kareem better than Wilton Shaq? In my opinion, yes. Like, Kareem's S. There's no ifs or buts about it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is S tier. Then we got Dan Issel. So Dan Issel, he's like a Kevin Love clone. So you got the Kevin Love base and stuff. He's like, imagine Kevin Love, but he can't really shoot the ball that well. And a slower lateral. And isn't even that much better in the post. Yeah, he's kind of like bad Kevin Love. I mean, because he can kind of play in the post, he's got mediocre speed, and he actually shoots the mid-range really well. I've used him, and he feels like he's a C-tier player, so I'm going to put him in C-tier. But I mean, just looking at his stats, he does kind of suck. But I've used him in draft, and I didn't mind him. I really did not mind him when I used him. So then we got Darryl Dawkins. Darryl Dawkins, it is the Ruby version, where he gets 49 speed. He gets like an 89 driving dunk. He can't even spin the AI. Not great rebounding, but he gets an alright block. He gets 64 lateral though. And the 64 lateral quickness is going to put him into D tier. But I mean, he's not great. D-Rob. D-Rob's player build puts him in D tier. I'm not even going to go over stats because he is probably the worst stats of every player we have here so far. I also forgot Marquise Chris, the garbage man. He's in worthless tier as well. D-Rob is probably the best or the worst stats of every player here. He just isn't that bad. He is just not that bad. That's the only way I can describe it. He's just not that bad. He's not nearly as bad as his stats will make him out to be. Okay, so then we've got DeMarcus Cousins. 61 speed, 60 acceleration, 81 block. Got really good post game. His jumper is not great. His post fadeaway is ridiculous though. He is the best, easiest post fadeaway to green in the game. He can get all the defensive badges. Get a bunch of shooting badges. Buggy's... I don't like Buggy, but he's A tier. Like, I don't think this is a good card. But he's A tier because there's not a lot of good centers in this game. Then we got the Dikembe. Dikembe is just Artis Gilmore. Like, the Dikembe is slightly worse in the score in terms of scoring because he doesn't really get a fadeaway at all. And the Dikembe is a slightly better shot blocker than Artis Gilmore, but they're basically the same card. The Dikembe is going into A tier. And the other Dikembe, the best center in my team, and it's not even close in my opinion. The best primary center. So Dikembe is basically like, imagine Shaq or Kareem or Wilt, but they can hit an open. They can hit a wide open 3-pointer. Like, the guy gets bronze and upgradable sniper. You give the dude, like, you give the guy gold sniper. He's barely missing a white. He gets a Hall of Fame catch and shoot, and he's god tier on defense. Do you use him as a popper? No. That's all I'm going to say is you don't use him. If you use him as a popper, I know a lot of people don't success him because they try to use him as a popper. You use him like he's a Shaq or a Wilt. But there are certain situations where you can use him as a perimeter player. Like, you can use him like a Shaq or a Wilt 80% of the time. And then, like, the other 20% of the time, you can have him in situations where you're running guard to guard pick and rolls. And the easiest way to stop them is by dragging in your center. And suddenly Dikembe's wide open to hit a 3-point shot. Dikembe's really, really good at what he does. And he is the center that I struggle most to guard. So then we got Dwight. So Dwight Howard's got some speed. He's got a good player build. He plays a little bit of defense. I don't think he's that great. I really don't. But, like, the real question is like, is he better? He's better than Al Horford. I'm going to move Horford down 1 tier. He's definitely better than Al Horford. I don't think Dwight's that good either, but he's also not unusably bad. Then we got Mikan. Like, Mikan's release is pretty good. He's gonna hit the mid-range, I guess. Mediocre fadeaway. He can spin the AI, 30 lateral. Yeah, Mikan really sucks. 30 lateral, 50 speed, and he's only 6'10". D. I'll go D tier. Another player we don't need to look at his stats. Avaka Zubac is useless. He is useless. That's all I'm going to say. Then we got Smits. So Smits right here is going A tier. And let me explain. There shouldn't even be a reason to explain. So basically, the dude's 7'4" with a 7'7" wingspan, can hit the mid-range shot and still block shots and score at an elite rate in the post. He is like, imagine if you had like Dikembe and Artis Gilmore, but you gave them minus 25 speed, but also gave them a way better offensive game. And again, dude 7'4". Dude 7'4". He's chicken as well, base 22. He's 7'4". He's a giant. He's a good mid-range shooter and can shoot fadeaways. Like, I'm sorry, he has to go in that tier. Then we got Wendell Carter Jr. 68 speed, only 50 lateral, but he's got a good interior game. He's got a good post game, a decent rebounder. Just a little bit small at 7 foot or at 6'10". Like, Wendell Carter Jr. is A. He's way better than Al Horford in my opinion. I'm gonna put Wendell in A. There's definitely a big discrepancy. Actually, you know what? There's not a big discrepancy. All these guys do different things. We got Nurkic. So Yusuf Nurkic. I hate Nurkic. I think it's just because 2K gave us that bad Nurkic last year. I just hate Nurkic cards in general. But, like, he's not awful. Bad release, but, like, he can kind of shoot. His lateral's not awful. His post game's not awful. Like, he's realistically a C tier player. And you know what? I'm going to move him into C tier. But I really want to move him into D or worthless tier just out of spite from last year. Then we have got this guy. I accidentally called him Robert. That is a mixture between Rudy and Gobert. Robert. Put the or in with the other letters of Gobert. But this guy right here, it doesn't matter which version of the same card. The only difference is it gets half rim protector versus goal rim protector. But like 65 lateral, 48 speed, 68 mid, He's got no real post game, but he's got a 95 standing dunk. Don't ask me how. This guy may be one of the most dominant interior centers in the game. Like, forget about your Dikembes or your Artis Gilmores. They are both deservingly an A tier. So is Rudy Gobert. He blocks every single shot. I don't know what it is. Don't ask me why. Like, I remember saying this guy was awful. But, like, I've used him in the draft. I've come up against him in the draft. Rudy Gobert just dunks on everybody. Rudy Gobert blocks every shot. He is the closest thing to Rudy Gobert in the Olympics that we will get. I'm not even going to say Jazz Rudy Gobert because they don't really give him the ball. He's basically Olympics France Rudy Gobert, where he looked like the best damn big man in the world. That is what we've gotten. One of the best interior presences in the game. Then we got Kareem, 7'2", 7'5" wingspan. He's got goalpost spin technician. He is, in my opinion, like slightly better version of like a Dikembe of an Artis Gilmore. He's not going A tier, he's going B. But he's in that tier with, sorry, not Artis Gilmore, Arvydas Sabonis. He's in that tier with James Donaldson and Sabonis. I think he's alright. I do think he's alright. Then we got Mikhail. Again, this is a guy that I have used in draft and nowhere else. Other than that, he can't really shoot the mid, can't really shoot the three. Mikhail, honestly, with that 38 lateral, I get it. Guy's got a 7'11" wingspan. I get it. 2K gas the wingspan. He's still worthless other than post-spinning DI. So then we got Marc Gasol. This is a surprisingly good player. And people are sleeping on this guy right here. Like, is he brilliant? No, of course he's not. But he's got a 74 3 ball. Send shot 18 is not terrible. The main reason it's bad is because of that ultra jumper. He's also got 56 lateral, which is not awful for a big man. Speed's not great, but he's got great post-up and fadeaway. He's also got a lot of solid defensive badges. Like, I'm looking in here at B tier for Marc Gasol. I'm really looking at Marc Gasol for B tier for him. So then we got Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby is 50 speed, 50 acceleration. He's going to block shots well. Again, was a defensive player of the year in Denver. Not going to do much inside. Post-up and fadeaway. Not the worst in the world, but not great. I mean, he's definitely better than worthless. I'm going to put him in D. I'm going to put him in D, but it's kind of tough. It's tough with him. So then we got Karl Anthony Towns. It doesn't matter what version of Cat. They're the same card. The only difference is that I think, is it Drop Stepper or is it Dream Shake you get extra? I think, yeah, it's Dream Shake. But he's still got decent lateral, decent speed. Like, not a great shot block, but he's a really good shooter. I actually really like his release. It feels a lot like a lot faster than last year. He's got a great post-up and great post fadeaway. Like, Karl Anthony Towns, overall, a really, really good big man. So I'm going to put Cat into A tier. And we got an awful lot of guys in A tier. Cat is, if you're asking me to run one player in A tier, honestly, I'm probably running Rick Smits, but I mean, Cat's not too far behind. So then we got Mark Eaton. Mark Eaton is like better defensive, worse offensive Rick Smits. Like with these Giants, I get it, he's only got 25 speed, but like Mark Eaton's 7'4" with a 7'7" wingspan as well, but a 99 block. So this guy is just the most dominant interior presence in this game, including Shaq and Wilt. Wilt and Shaq do certain things better than, and Kareem, than Eaton. In terms of pure inside dominance, Eaton is the most dominant, but there's other players who do a lot of other stuff well. So then, this right here is the biggest jump of any tier of one player from one tier list to another. It's Mitchell Robinson. So, Mitchell Robinson, 64 lateral, 52 speed. He doesn't have a good post-up and fadeaway. This guy has the Rudy Gobert effect. This guy blocks every shot. He gets every rebound. He is one of the most dominant players in this game. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. He's A tier. He's going right up here in A tier. I know we might have too many players in A tier, but like this center position, like if you're telling me, like some people might say, you know what, Cat's way better. Cat should be the best at this. Some people might argue Boogie, but for me, I think Rick Smits versus, like, Dwight Howard's a fast center, so it's hard to judge him. But for me, Mitchell Robinson versus Rick Smits versus Dikembe Mutombo versus Mark Eaton versus Artis Gilmore is a battle of preference. I think all of these, like these guys right here, let's bring Dwight Howard down. Like all these guys from Rick Smits to Gilmore is literally preference. So I think it's hard to split them up in tiers. So then we got Moses Malone. We're back down to reality right now. We got Moses. Moses was good last year. Moses had a really, really good card last year. But Moses Malone in general, like 64 speed's okay. But he can't really shoot the ball. He's undersized. He's only got 42 lateral quickness. And for me, I'm putting Moses, like you could definitely argue Moses in D. I think I might put him in D. But he's either in D or worthless. Like this tier right here are basically all just not good. Even the C tier is not good. Like if you got any player under B tier, even in draft, you would be pissed off. That's like how, outside maybe Brook Lopez. If you know what, some C tier guys are okay for draft. Like if you got, these guys are bad even for draft. C tier is like okay in draft. B tier and above are like, you know what, if I get these in draft, they're good cards. But Nate Thurmond, 45 speed, 44 acceleration, no real I get it, he gets all the defensive badges. Don't get me wrong, I get it that he gets every defensive badge, at least on bronze. He's slow, he can't score, and he's got bad lateral. He's not going to be the worst defensive player in the game. He's really not. He's not good either, though. He's going D. He's going D. Like, badges do help, but only when you've got good... Badges help, like, make stats better. They're not going to make suddenly bad stats good. Then we got Vucevic, but both versions of Vucevic are the same card. So, Nikola Vucevic, 25 speed, 79 3-ball knock ratio, 25 lateral quickness, like decent post game, good badges. Like he's the same tier as Brook Lopez. Both Vucevic's are the same. Basically, you get Ruby Vucevic in draft. He's good, but that's about it. Oh no, Cycly's useless. Ronnie Cycly is useless. Like 45 speed, no shooting, mediocre post game, 32 lateral quickness, and he's not even above 7 foot. This guy, I've tried to use him in the draft. He's terrible. He is terrible. And then this guy's again falling under the radar, considering times you can get him for like 700 coins. Roy Hibbert. He's 40 speed, 45 lateral quickness, and he's got 89 stamina. Decent post hook. Problem is he doesn't come with a lot of badges on the offensive end, but he's 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. Is he as good as like an Artis Gilmore or anything? No. But you can definitely argue him above like an Arvydas Sabonis. He's definitely on B tier. He's just kind of gone. He's slipped under the radar, but he is definitely a B tier player. He is most definitely a B tier player. Then we got the Diesel. This guy's only, in my opinion, just terrible value, but he's insane. Like Shaq on launch day was 80k, and I kind of half wish I bought him for 80k because I was sitting on like 100k on launch day. On an account that I spent money on, but he's like 300k right now. He's in terrible value for that. This 78 stamina feels like 25. He is the second most dominant inside presence after Mark Eaton, but he's got 80 speed, which helps an awful lot. His defense is pretty good. Post game is elite. He's just dominant inside. The only problem is that like you can't play Shaq for long periods of time. When Shaq starts going low stamina, that's when guys with ball stripper come in to dominate. But Shaq's S. Shaq is S tier. I don't rate Shaq. Like for me, Shaq right now is the worst player in S tier, but he's S tier. I don't think he'll be S tier next time I make this list, but for now he is. So we got Spencer Haywood, 75 speed, only 57 lateral, decent 3-ball, but he has a set shot 4 with a catapult. Actually, no, he doesn't. Why did I think he had a catapult? He had a catapult last year. Decent post game. Again, the only time I've ever used this guy is in the draft, and he's at 6'8", just felt a little bit small. With his speed, I think maybe there might be a niche for him. So I'm going to put him in C tier, but he just feels too small. You know, screw it. If I put Bob Mackie in B tier, he'll go B tier. So we got Thiago Splitter. We have got the player that people say most resembles myself. 50 speed, 50 acceleration, 43 lateral quickness, 86 post hook, 86 post fadeaway. Like, it's not terrible. Like 50 speed, decent in the post, mediocre mid-range shooter. Good release, decent shot blocker, some okay defensive badges. Like it's D probably. Like he's definitely D, but he's one of the better players in D tier. Then we got the Tree Man. I'm sorry. The Tree Man is really good in TT offline if you're running with golds. The Tree Man blocks every single shot on next gen. I don't care. The Tree Man will never be in another tier list again, by the way. This will be the last time we see the Tree Man, but the Tree Man, he has his spot. He has his spot on this list. So then you have Vin Baker. This is a guy that I legitimately thought was going to be one of the best centers in the game when he came out. When we were getting him. Because his speed's not terrible. His lateral's not good, but not terrible. But he's got a decent release. A decent 3-point rating. Like, his shooting's fine. With those badges. A great post game with some great badges. I don't know why. Like, he should be better than he is. I've used him a few times. He didn't feel great. He's going to go B. He's definitely in a B tier. But, like, with the way his stats and stuff are, he should definitely... You would definitely think he would be an A tier player. Then we got Vlade. This card is growing on me. I used him in a draft when I went on a draft run when I went 10-0. And I initially, when I got Vlade, I thought it was like one of the worst cards. He was one of the worst cards in the game. I hated him. Like, his speed and lateral didn't feel too bad, but that jump shot felt horrific. His post game didn't feel good, but the more I used him, the more I got used to using him as a corner shooter. His interior presence was good. And it was like once they switched the reason why I hate him so much was I felt he couldn't score on the inside, but that's only because the draft mode had the layup situation where you couldn't make open layups. But Vlade Divac, he's B. He's definitely not higher than B, but I think he well and truly deserves to be in that B tier. I really, really do think he deserves to be in that B tier. So then we got Willis Reed. So Willis Reed is 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan. 73 speed, 71 acceleration. Only a 44 3 ball. 78 mid. 56 lateral though. Decent inside. Some decent badges with a 90 block. He's a little bit undersized at 6'9", but I mean C tier. He fits a purpose. He fits a purpose. So then we got Wilts. So Will Chamberlain. This Will Chamberlain, obviously 55 speed, can't really shoot. Still going to be decent inside. He's got a decent block and he's still got wilt animations. This Will Chamberlain here, not going to shoot the ball. 75 speed, way better stamina than Shaq. He blocks insane amount of shots. Good screen setter as well with that gold brick wall. Really good in the post and has a fadeaway, which Shaq doesn't. So for me, I personally think Wilt is that a little bit better than Shaq. So I'm going to put Wilt in. And I did not mean to put this Wilt in A, I meant to put him in C. I'm going to go for Wilt, I'm going to go C and S. Okay, so then we got Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas 7'3", he's slow. He's going to go B tier, he's basically just another Arvidas Sabonis. But he's got a better release, but this version of Ilgauskas can't shoot, so it doesn't matter. And then we got Nikola Jokic. And Jokic has got 67 speed. He's got bad lateral. 79 block, which is not terrible. Got an 84 3 ball, insane in the post, and got like half bullet, half dimer, half post playmaker. He also has got a set shot 18, which is greenable. I'm putting Jokic. Like, Jokic is a tough one. Because I think offensively, Jokic is a little bit better than Cat. I think out of the Cat Buggy, which is like the offensive players, I think Jokic is going to go with the S tier. But it's close. It's a close one. I think Kareem, Wilt, Dikembe and Shaq are no-brainers. I think Jokic is the 5th, but there are a lot of guys you can put in there instead of Jokic depending on your playstyle. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is the tier list. That is the Elasticity's position tier list. That is the center tier list in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.